Cool, so we're starting again. Here we go. So as you can see straight off this time, this document is showing that we've basically got all of our tools now running down the left hand side of the screen are actually black and not greyed out, and that's because we've now got a document open. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you wanted to change this document, and let's just say you wanted a 500mm wide vinyl document on there so that you could set out your objects within this document. What you would do is click on the grey edge running right around the outside there. You could also go on the toolbar here on the page size and select a different size, like custom. If you click custom, and here next to it you could just type in 500mm wide by tab down 1000, so that's half a meter by a meter. Press enter, and you can see straight away that automatically that page size has got bigger on the screen. Now if I wanted to zoom out so I could see the whole document, I'm going to use the roller wheel on my mouse and I'm going to pull the wheel back, or I could press it, roll it forward and move in. Okay, so that shows me that document size. If I wanted to change it by clicking on the grey edge, I'm just going to double click on the grey edge. Exactly the same here again, page size. Now you're going to see lots and lots of different tools as we go. I just really want to teach you the basics for now, and then we can use and expand as we move through the course. Right, so let's cancel that. I'm not too worried about document size at the moment, so let's just leave that. So the CorelDRAW, like I said, is a vector-based drawing software which basically uses mathematical objects which are scalable. And the reason, what that means is if you drew something that was 10mm across, let's just show you like a squiggly line. I'm going to just go onto the Bezier tool and I'm just going to draw a line like this. Let me go back and close that. So I've got a funny object on here, and let me just drop a bit of colour into it, which basically means I'm going to go back to my pick tool on the left hand side and go back over to the right hand side to the colour palette and hit the left mouse button. That is going to fill that. Now I can move that around by clicking on the object itself, and you can see straight away that it gives me this 4-point mouse option in the middle, which means I can pick it up and move it wherever I want. Now what I'm saying about a vector-based object is, let's just say at the moment I click on this and I look at the top left hand side here, and it shows me that this object, if I grab a corner, is currently 221.5mm across. Okay, I could say actually I only want this 20mm across, so I could click in there, type in 20, press enter, and it's going to change the shape of it. That's only changed it in one direction. If you wanted to keep the aspect ratio exactly the same, you would lock it there. So what I'm going to do is just press Control Z, which is undo. Control Z, undo. Okay, and that's going to take me back. I'm going to click on the padlock there, which keeps the aspect ratio the same. Double click on the top left to right sizing. Okay, the width size in, and I'm going to type in 20, press enter, and you can see straight away that this object now, if I grab my mouse and drag around it, it's 20 by 11. So 20mm by 11. Now what vector basically means is if I grab the corner and expand it, because it's made up of lines and mathematical equations, you're not going to get any pixelation errors at all like you do with a bitmap. So if we had a bitmap in here, the more we expand it, we're obviously going to pixelate, because what it does, it fills in as it stretches the image, it adds pixels around each of the original images, and therefore that's how you get the pixelation. So this is vector-based software. Okay, let's get rid of that. So I am going to click on that and I'm going to press the delete key, DEL, and it's gone. So down the left hand side here we've got in the mid section here is your drawing tools, which is things like, let me show you, the Bezier tool. So if you look at the toolbox, you can see that in the bottom right hand corner of the toolbox there is a little tiny black arrow. If you click and hold that with your left mouse button, you get a fly out and you get other options. Not on every one of the tools, like this one here. You've got shape tool, you've got smooth, smear, twirl. You're not going to use any of this for the moment, but we will use the shape tool. So we're going to be using the pick tool, which you're going to go back to all the time, the shape tool underneath. There's a crop tool, which is for doing things with bitmaps, and we'll bring some stuff in later, and we can show you that. Here we've got a zoom tool. It's great for zooming in on particular areas. As you can see, you can press the control key and it will zoom. Sorry, you press the right mouse key and it will zoom back out. So left key to zoom in and right key to zoom back out. But going back down the side here, we've also then got the drawing tools, so freehand, so you can click on freehand and you can go like that. And what it will do, it will, when it draws it, if you can see this, it's like we're really jiggy-jaggy all the way across. So I'm holding down the left mouse key and just moving that line across the screen. What it's going to do there is going to reduce the amount of points or nodes in that actual drawing. That's very, very important because one, it smooths the object, but two, if you're cutting a vector image on a vinyl cutter, the last thing you want is loads and loads and loads of nodes, because every time this blade follows this path all the way around on a cutter, it has to stop and turn, stop and turn, stop and turn. So you may see later on when we do some traces, loads and loads of nodes, okay, and you just don't get a smooth cut. One, it's very slow to cut, okay, so you need to reduce that as much as possible. If you need to, that's the freehand tool, we won't be using that. What we'll be working on with this tool here, called the Bezier tool, it's nice and versatile. Any of the others are quite difficult to control for tracing or redrawing your customers' objects and or your own logos. We've got some standard tools here, so you've got like a square, you've got a circle, you can change the size up here if you like. What else we got down here? Text tool, very, very important. If you click on the text tool, then what you can do here is you can come across, you can draw a box and that will contain the text. Let me zoom in, rolling in with the mouse. There we go, you can see that. We can highlight the text. We can move up to the standard toolbar area, and there you can see the different fonts that we've got loaded in. So I can select a font, I can select the point size of the font, I could select things like italic, underline, bold, if those are options for that particular font. We won't be using the font or the text tool in this particular way. What we do in CorelDRAW when we're setting up artwork is we use the text tool without this box area, and it's a real common mistake. A lot of people get stuck with that. So selecting the text tool, click it once, bring it up to the area, don't drag, just click once with the left mouse button. Click it down and the cursor starts to flash now. Now if I put in just a piece of standard text like so, when I've finished with that, automatically I get the sizing options come up around the outside where I can pull, manipulate the text. Bearing in mind though, this is still actually a text, it's not an outline, it's still editable. So whatever I do with it, like something crazy like that, I can still go in and add extra characters if I want. I'm going to undo that, which is Control Z, and take it back to where it was originally. I've gone too far there, so what I can do is I can press redo, and that will bring that one back so I didn't go too far. Okay, so look, if I grab a corner of that text, I can expand and retract the sizing of that font. As the whole object is currently selected, again on the middle of the text there you can see that I've got this four-way arrow. I can pick that up and move it across, but it also will allow me just to change the font in one hit, so I can just hit another font. Sizing here doesn't really matter unless you need to know exactly the point size, but because you're going to be drawing with it and you can resize it later, the whole logo, don't worry about it at the moment. There you go, we've got an italic font there for one. I wouldn't actually use that in this because if I wanted to manipulate this, I would use another tool on the left-hand side called an envelope tool, but we'll show that in a moment. Also, if I wanted to change the color of this, I would go over, just click once on this object, go over to the right-hand side Docker, color palette on this side, and just choose a color. Let's just choose that blue there. So I'm going to left-click on the sky blue. Now if I wanted to put an outline on it, like a hairline, then I could come back over here and I could right click on a colour, and that there has given me now just a very fine black edge, which is nice. If I wanted to expand the edge, then I could go over to the left hand side, the pen tool, and select a thicker edge. At the moment I'm on hairline, outline. Let's go down to 1.5, it's going to be too thick, but it'll just show you, gives you a bit of an idea. Again, if I wanted it to have a red outline, I could come back over to the right hand panel, the color docker, and I could right click on red, and that would give me a red outline. Cool. Then we've got, that's the pen tool there. Down the bottom of the document, you can see here, I've got page 1. If I wanted to add another page, I would click add page, which basically means currently I'm on page 2. If I put this item onto page 2, when I go back to page 1, you can see it's not there because it's on the actual document page, or a portion of it is, it attaches itself to that particular page area. Up the top here, you can have lots and lots of documents open all the way along the top, so we could copy and paste between each one. And that's about it for your basic overview. What I want to do is jump straight into doing some drawing. Let's keep this pace moving forward nice and quickly, and as we move we will expand on the tools. Okay, so that's very good. Let's stop this particular video.